Whatever you do, stick around for number 5 because that one should be our goal, not just in the United States, but across the globe. I want to talk about why we don't see America in Revelation or anywhere else in the Bible. We would expect to see it mentioned or at least alluded to if it was still a major world power during the end times, especially with the relationship that we have with Israel, but how big of a player we are on the world stage currently. But we don't see it mentioned anywhere. So something major must happen between now and the end times to diminish America so greatly that it's no longer worth mentioning. One of my favorite experts on the topic of eschatology, or the study of the end times, was also one of my professors at Dallas Theological Seminary. His name is Dr. Mark Hitchcock. He's a pastor of a large church in Edmond, Oklahoma. He's written over 30 books covering biblical prophecy, and he writes a book specifically on this topic. So his book that I'm going to reference in this video is called Showdown with Iran. Now, it was published in early 2020 before COVID really went nuts, but the topics that he covers in this book are becoming more relevant by the day. So it covers everything from who and what Gog and Magog are to all the countries that are talked about in Revelation, and specifically what we're going to talk about today in why America is not mentioned. The first 4 are the ones that we should be working to avoid, and number 5 is what we should be working towards. So let's get into it. So the first possible scenario that could so weaken the United States to make it irrelevant during the end times is economic collapse. In the book, Dr. Hitchcock focuses on our national debt. Now, when he pulled the numbers in late 2019, our national debt at that time was at $23 trillion. And he even says it was impressive how quickly we accumulated debt in the previous 365 days by increasing it another $1 trillion. Well, that's not even close to what it is now. Just in the last 5 years, we've increased it another $12 trillion to $35 trillion today. And the last time we've ever seen a drop in our national debt was in 1957. So if our economy collapses and the USD plummets, that could significantly hinder any kind of role that we would have in the end times. Another negative possibility would be a nuclear nightmare. We have a lot of enemies that, under the right circumstances, could take the opportunity to start a nuclear war with the United States. The third reason that Dr. Hitchcock gives is moral cave-in. Essentially, that the morality within the United States gets so bad and collapses to the point where God is determined to judge America to the extent where she's no longer relevant during the end times. Now, some say that we are so close to this precipice that it's only inevitable, and they would say that if God doesn't judge America soon, he's gonna owe an apology to Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, I think we're quite a ways away from Sodom and Gomorrah, but we're certainly replicating some of the same things that they were doing. Whether it be abortions, idolatry, homosexuality, pornography, all these things that diminish the image of God and promote the lust of the flesh. We need to turn away from these things and turn towards God before he decides that the best thing for America is judgment. Reason number 4 is a second civil war. And I think from the time that Dr. Hitchcock wrote this book till now, this one has become even more of a possibility. Satan has worked hard in drawing divisions within the country, whether it be through race or political affiliations. And he has had far more victories than we ever should have allowed. We have to remember that real peace comes from having peace with God. And that brings us to number 5. This is the one that I hope for, not just for the United States, but for the entire world. And this is the one that Dr. Hitchcock believes is the reason we don't see America in Revelation. And it's what he calls the great disappearance. It is the rapture of the church. My hope is that so many would become saved that when Jesus comes back to take his church home to heaven, that the United States is non-existent and therefore not worth mentioning. That's my hope. And that's what we should all be working towards. So share the good news of Jesus Christ with everyone, whatever country you're in. God's desire is that everyone would be saved. So let's be on that mission. So if you'd like to check out Dr. Hitchcock's book yourself, I'm going to have a link in the description below. I'll also have a link in there to his most major work. It's called The End, and it covers all of eschatology. If this video has been helpful for you, if it's answered any questions, I hope it's been encouraging for you. Please share, like, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next one.